and the fourth quarter is when that happens now?
Yes.
I know.
Last 2
Last
minutes
2
of the
minutes
game
of
sure.
the second. Yeah, for sure in the game, but I'm not sure if it happens before half. I'm not sure. But
hey, you want to join us there, Jay?
That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points, boys and girls. So yes, they did get better.
It is.
Well, if I may add into this,
jump in.
Well, I said this earlier. If Oklahoma would have exited that game and won 42-0, like that would have been a great win. Yeah. Yes, it's Arkansas State. That's a team you're supposed to beat and beat handedly. But that's why I said if they would have done it 42-0, that's impressive. They put up how many points? I don't care. I don't care who you're playing. You have got to execute to do that. My biggest question about Oklahoma's offense is who steps up in the wide receiver room. Now, understand the question isn't where's the talent in the wide receiver room. Jason, we talked about this a lot. I liked the talent y'all had there. It's just a natural question, who's going to step up and be the guy? I was so happy Gibson. Like I talked about Andrell Anthony, and I think if you're asking me for biggest takeaways, the fact that game one, he and Dylan Gabriel have that relationship, that's positive. You love that. But Gibson with those big catches, loved it, man. And the Oklahoma defense, you pitched a shutout. They missed some field goals, but even then you executed when you need to. There's still room for growth as expected, still looking for more, but the defense looked like they understood the scheme more. They were playing quicker. The linebackers were playing much quicker, and that's what you wanted to see. If the guys understand what Brent Venables wants of them. And look, they were playing with more confidence. Can't wait to see next week against SMU because SMU is fun. SMU is fun.
Right. No, I think it's going to be a lot of fun in that one. If they can shut them down even similarly to what they did this week, you got to say that it was a big deal, right? The team Bama played an 8-win team. UT played a bowl eligible team with JT Daniels, who was perfect for that offense.
Yeah. No, I don't disagree. Look, Texas did what they needed to do. I think Middle Tennessee is coming off of a bowl win.
They struggled a little more than you would have thought they would have probably, but
they turned it on, right?
I just said that I thought Quinn was fine.
Well, here's the one thing I think if you are a Texas fan, I said this in my show, if you are going to struggle, and I know this is going to sound wild, so hear me out. If you were going to struggle, I think it's better that you did so in the first half and then looked alive in the second half, because this is a Texas team where the biggest question we have about Steve Sarkisian is what are you going to do in the second half? Yep. Well, today it was a bit of the opposite, right? Like we've almost never questioned how Texas starts. So the fact that after halftime, when there's been such a question, that's when Texas really turned it on offensively and got it going. I'm excited for next week. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm certainly not going to sit in here and tell y'all because Texas struggled a little bit with Rice. That's not going to be a game next week. That is going to be a game. Get your TV set, record it. It is going to be unbelievable. It's just going to be a ton of fun.
Right. I think he is good. They said that it was an AC sprain. He was wanting to go back in the game according to BV. I think he's going to be fine. Same with Deshaun McCullough. Looks like Bevel got hurt pretty good, but that's the only serious injury that you got out of the game, right? So looks like it's going to be okay. What's up, PG? What's up, PG? You're welcome to pop in here too as well. That one just went in there. Unfair. Yeah, Jay, any of you guys, what's up? What's up? Just listening while cleaning and watching the bowl. Got it. No worries. You guys want to jump in, feel free to. If not, got it. And we're only going to be on for a little bit longer anyway. I'm going to be on Coach I's show here in just a bit. Hey, what
Texas
I would tell
State,
you is you
up 14.
Texas State still up 14. This is craziness. Loving it though. I'll tell you, Coach, you've been right on the money with this.
It's been coming down the road.
Texas State, they've been building.
Texas State been building, and Baylor's been stinking it up.
True.
Yeah, listen, Baylor's
on. I'm telling you guys, they're on a crash course.
Yeah. I feel like the problem with Baylor, it's like, and we talked about it at Big 12 Media Days, is that he didn't even, I mean, adults of advanced, supposed to be advanced educations. Now, I wouldn't go too far with some reporters, by the way, but supposedly of advanced educations were struggling to understand his answers to questions at Big 12 Media Days. I have a hard time believing he connects with all those 19-year-olds. Now, I do believe that Dave Aranda is a hell of a defensive coordinator. I think that he puts it together. I think that there's some struggle there, though, and I think that Joey Maguire may have been the best coach on that staff when he was there.
There's no doubt, Jason. There's no doubt. And back to your response on the media days and talking about these media people that are very. I mean, there's some very intelligent media people, and I'm not putting myself in that category at all.
Wrong word.
but I'm going to tell you this, guys, and I say this in a whisper because not many people know this about me. I actually have a doctorate degree, and so I see myself as a little bit intelligent, not a lot, but a little bit. And he was blowing my mind with his answers. He made no sense.
Seemed a little weird, and I think that there's a point. Oh crap! Central Arkansas just went on a deep run there too. They're deep in Cowboy territory. At the 6-minute mark here. Yeah, looks like they may be going down the score. Cut that lead in half at 13-0 right now. So yeah, they're moving the ball. That 3-3-5 is working out real good there at Okie State.
You have got to have some dogs if you're going to run a 3-3. I mean, they have got to come down with such violent intent that you dissuade them from running the football. It's not an easy – you have to have the right personnel, but if you don't have the right personnel, we've seen it time and time again, gentlemen. Coach, I don't need to tell you, if you don't have the right personnel for that 3-3-5, they will cut you up like a hot knife through butter.
They're moving at will here.
And dice you.
They're moving at will here. And you're right. Look what happened. Look what happened when TCU tried to put that 3-3-5 up against those mammoths from Georgia in the championship. What happened to them? It was over in the first freaking quarter.
Guys, those three down linemen have got to be manimals. They have got to be big, strong, but you also better throw fast in there.
He fumbled it into the end zone.
And then the linebackers, the physicality they have to play with. The
linebackers have got to be GoDaddies too, because they have got they've got to run. Because the outside linebackers, guys, those are basically what you see as defensive ends in a lot of schemes. And they've got to be able to come up to the line of scrimmage and play the line of scrimmage. They got to be able to play that outside linebacker. So they've got to be great athletes as well. So the 3-3-5. Now I tell you this: if you've got that in the 3-3-5, the 3-3-5 is tougher than hell to go against. If
it's
you're
not
good
a prevent defense, I wouldn't call it that. Would you, Coach? I mean, it's definitely a defense that's got a lot of quote unquote defensive backs, but it's usually the best athletes. Again, look. Coach, you guys used to use it when you were you said that when y'all started using it, you didn't give up but like 3 points all season.
We gave up when I started running the 3-3-5, we gave up a touchdown in the first quarter of the first game, and then we didn't get scored on again until it was the second round of the playoffs. We got scored on again. Yeah. And it was, like I said, if you got the right personnel and you know what you're doing with it, it can be an incredible defense.
Yeah, you were talking Butch Jones coaches as well as he recruits. Yeah, I'm not. Hey,
is he talking Butch Jones or is he talking Emmett Jones?
Oh, Emmett Jones.
Coach as well as he can recruit because he's been on a heater on the recruiting trail. We're talking Emmett
Jones. I would agree with you there too.
Yeah.
Either one.
Either one.
Yeah, either one. You're right. Okay. So with Butch Jones, I did I heard a funny one about stacking like bricks, that we're just stacking, this talent and whatever he was saying at Tennessee. It was pretty funny. But yes, no, Emmett Jones, look, this dude is a big ad for Oklahoma. And again, there's none of who on this staff doesn't recruit well. You got Valai, he's out there killing it. Coach Bates. Look, I know they hadn't gotten them all yet. But again, and I think Jay's has been right on the money with this when Jay started talking about this. They are trying to recreate Clemson, and why wouldn't you, right? 3rd and goal on the 1 for
1 yard
Central
line.
Arkansas here. Why wouldn't you, right? But what I'm going to tell you is, look, they didn't get a 5-star guy until they'd already won a national championship. They also know how to develop, and the guys that they have brought in, whether they're 5 stars or not, in terms of what 24/7 says or whatever, touchdown Central Arkansas, whether they are or not. Look, I'm going to tell you now, I think Nigel Smith is as good as anybody in the country, and he's not a 5-star. He'll probably move into top 100 status, wouldn't you think, Ty?
I would think so. He's very gifted.
He's
very
unbelievably good, right? And
Great
I think a lot of it is
class.
that he doesn't go to a ton of camps to where, that he's paying into the camp stuff. And why did the dude's 6'6", same size as Stoney, explosive. Again, I've said it a bunch of times. He's my favorite kid in the entire country. Favorite recruit. Now, other than before anybody freaks out, the most important recruit to Oklahoma was David Stone. Yeah. And I think that he is going to bring in a ton of guys with him. I think that he did before he ever committed. I think that you see some good things, right? Yes, G-Baby, love him. I think he's going to be great. He's going to help a lot.
Can you do me one kindness? Can you go up to Anthony's comment?
This one?
Yes, saying, do you think it's hypothetically Miami is successful this season with what they're doing, hiring local high school coaches as recruiting analysts? Do you think more programs do it? Anthony, if they have access to the local high school coaching pool that the Florida schools do, guys, when we look at some of the guys that the Florida schools have nabbed, look at the high schools they're coming from. Huge high schools out there and such a fervent recruiting grounds. If they have the ability to do it, I think they would love to do it, Anthony, but it's all about availability.
Sure. Well, and a lot of guys, listen, if you're able to get guys, and let's not be crazy and think that recruiting doesn't happen at the high school level these days, because it does. And it always kind of has. But I think that's a great question, but you start thinking about Joey Maguire, and by the way, they're up 17-0 at Wyoming. As you see here, Trajan said, Texas State just won't stop. Oh, goody. Let's see some more about this one.
Well, if I may, about Joey Maguire, when I was interning for Dave Campbell's Texas football, they had just hired him. And hearing the guys that worked for the company, the guys that had been there forever, speak so glowingly about Joey Maguire. And then as I got to talk to different high school coaches, I was doing some writing for Dave Campbell's, just helping them out with some small projects. And I got to talk to some coaches. Coaches in the state of Texas love that man. High school coaches.
He was the president of the Coaches Association, which is the most powerful freaking thing in high school football in Texas.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them nab
for nothing, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, coach.
Just to be voted onto that board of directors of the Texas High School Coaches Association, because all of the coaches across the state in all the regions vote for coaches to move into those positions. That's so right. You have to have a lot of respect from a lot of people to earn your way into that group of that assation.
Most definitely. No, and I go ahead, finish what you were saying, Ty. Though what were the things that you heard from some of those guys?
Oh, I mean, you just talk about the high school coaches saying that he was a guy that they would trust, right? And I think in the state of Texas, for people who know how the state operates, that means a lot. If you guys see me looking down, I'm looking at the game. Jalen Milroe just hit another, looks like a 40-yard, huge chunk pass to Jermaine Burton. Should be his third long touchdown of the evening, a pass interference, 48-yarder. I'm so excited, man. Tommy Reese has this offense running the multiple tight ends right now. And Coach, you don't know how happy I am seeing this multiple tight end offense right now at Alabama with the tight end talent they have and with Jalen Milroe running it. I'm so sorry to have gotten off on that. I just looked down and saw a big touchdown. But where I was ultimately going with Joey Maguire,
we both picked Alabama to get to the playoff, and a lot of people aren't. So I'm doesn't surprise me a lot. So
Steven, I'm so sorry you don't love the hat, but it's one of those things, Steven. I'm not a huge baseball fan, but if you're just like a modern I'm a sneakerhead, right? And so like as a sneakerhead, there are certain hats you just kind of have to have. The classic New York hat, like as a style thing, that's just a must, right? It's just a must for me. But what I was ultimately going to say, coaches in the state of Texas will trust Joey Maguire with their players. They will say, hey, make the decision that's best for you, but I can vouch for that man right there. That means something in this state. And if you know, Coach, you're nodding so hard because you know. Right. Yeah. You know what that means in this state.
No, he's and you hit the nail on the head. He's very respected. And I'm telling you, because Texas high school football is out there on such a big scale and recruited so much that you do want to know who's walking into your door. And are you going to be honest with our kids? And Joey Maguire is going to be honest, whether you want to hear it or not. He's going to be honest, but it's also not when Joey's talking to you and saying something negative, it's how he says it too. Right. He can the way he presents it. So it's his communication skills are incredible as well.
You got to think about the fact that when they beat Texas last year and he was talking, nobody even really got that pissed off at him for saying Big 12 comes through Lubbock, and he was screaming. Now he was saying it to his team. Right. But even that didn't piss anybody off. Probably.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
But I mean, not many. You know what I mean?
No, you're right. No, he's a good guy, guys. He's just a good person. And you know, when you have a truly a good person, you know, things work. Even your enemies don't dislike you.
Right.
Yeah, the way they negative recruit you is a little bit different, right? Like
sir.
They negative recruit things where it's just like, okay, well, okay, yeah, you can say that to the recruit.
They may say things like, well, "Are you sure you want to go to Tech?" You know, Coach Maguire is probably a little bit too nice. You know, things of that nature.
Or maybe like, hey, that room is already very nice. They recruited well. Like that's the type of negative recruiting that you'll see from those. Oh, you know, they loaded up at the wide receiver last year. We think we have a more linear path here. And
you got it, brother.
That's the type of things you'll see. And that's just hilarious to me because it's like you can't even negative recruit the guy.
Exactly.
Van said, Bama fan in here. Jason, who's impressed with what he saw out of OU today.
Yeah, listen, tell me what you thought about him.
Look, like I said earlier, we would have been happy if Oklahoma had won that game 42-0. Sure. Right? You beat a team that you're supposed to beat, but how did you beat them? The offense was in command. Dylan Gabriel absolutely looks more comfortable. And I told you, I think that the thing that I would be the most excited about is that instant connection he had with Anthony on the outside. Anthony's the guy that hasn't been there for a year. So him coming in there, having that instant connection, you got to love it. Tawi Walker is going to be a really fun running back. We already knew the running back room was going to be a strength of this Oklahoma team. Loved seeing the multiple tight ends get involved. I think that was very nice. You have Jackson Arnold as your quarterback too, and he's going to be a very fun player for Oklahoma fans in the very near future. Gabriel was on today. Like I said, looked way more comfortable. Your secondary is I mean, you got a lot of different guys who are playing capable ball. That's an area where they're still going to continue developing, but that's probably very natural, especially when you look at the secondary that Brent Venables wants to have, the way that he's calling all this around. That's going to take any team, especially one that hasn't had Brent for 3 years, time to develop. All of that is very normal stuff. I think all the way around, if you're an Oklahoma fan, you need to be overwhelmingly happy, acknowledging that, hey, we're going to still learn more next week against SMU, a team that played pretty good football today against Louisiana Tech. And but you have every right to be happy, every right to be excited. And the defense certainly looks like it's taken step forwards. I don't think that's a question. The question is how many step forward. We don't know that yet because we can't know that, but the question of steps forward, that's safe to say yes.
Yes.
And I go back to what I said before. Without what happened last season, I think you were on the show with me whenever I said this, Ty. In fact, I know you were. You had to break. You had to break. They had to break completely last season in order for you to stop trying to glue the shit back together. You did. It was going to continue to get duct taped together and full of crap, but until this culture is fully immersed in this program, you weren't going to have a lot of difference. What I saw today that was the most impressive to me is they kept their foot on the gas and they kept that intensity for 60 minutes, which you hear every coach say shit like that. You don't always see it, a la some of these other programs.
Well, kids just lose intensity. I mean,
right.
When you're kicking somebody's ass that bad, guys, it's just human nature to lose some of that intensity.
Right.
And it's just the way it is.
Right. Anthony had a question for you back here.
And I got it. It's about the 3-3-5. How come in the NFL?
In the league?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and I tell you what, the 3-3-5 is more used at the high school and collegiate level because when you get to the NFL, I mean, and I know you have a lot of good players in college too, but when you go to the NFL, you got the cream of the crop. Okay, you got the best.
Every one of them.
And when you put an offensive line up there and you line up 3 guys against them, you're going to get your ass kicked at the line of scrimmage every play. You can't play with those 4 linebackers back off of the ball. And so you that's why the 3 now earlier somebody asked if the 3-3-5 was a prevent. No, it's not. But in the NFL, that's what they use as a prevent, is more of a 3-3-5 look. But that's the only time.
I think that might be where their question stemmed from as well, seeing 3-3-5 and thinking, okay, well, when I've seen 3 down linemen on the next level, it's prevent. So is that a prevent-based defense? Good question, both of them.
Yes.
Coach, you hit the nail on the head. Yeah. It's because a lot of the times the 3-3-5 is used as a defense when you're trying to out-scheme talent, right? Like you're trying to have your scheme beat talent. Coach hit the nail on the head. Not only in the NFL are you more talented, allowing you to not have to worry about some of the things that the 3-3-5 is trying to make up for, but the opposing offensive line is far too talented to roll out 3 offensive. Can you imagine some of those classic Bears offensive line looking across from them and seeing 3 down linemen? They would lick their chops and laugh.
Exactly.
That'd be great. I would pay to see that.
Yeah.
When we say Oklahoma OU football's back, because honestly, we haven't been OU in a while. We've been a lot of finesse and scheming. No. Yeah. I mean, I think you can say that that unapologetic and, what did I say earlier about USC? The difference between them and Notre Dame, one is physical, one is finesse. Plain and simple.
Kool-Aid almost just took a punt to the house.
Oof, Kool-Aid looks good. Kool-Aid looks really good, doesn't he?
Did you see the first play of the game? Terry and Arnold was on that DB like stink on you know what. I mean, just all over him. Hey, it's not my show. I wanted to, be safe. You know how YouTube can be, man. You know how YouTube.
Listen, I'm going to say this real quick. I've got a quick little segment that I wanted to make sure we haven't hit the Norman Cam yet, so I wanted to pop that up for everybody here. The Norman Cam.
It's the Norman Cam. It's the Norman Cam. It's the Norm and Cam. It's the Norm and Cam.
Norm.
Norm. Everybody give some love to my dog, please.
I love it. I love it.
Oh man, good stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Look, I know everybody's always screaming for Norm. It's rare that I can get him to like stay in the same spot for very long, but so I wanted to make a little one earlier today.
Gentlemen, another long strike from Jalen Milroe, this time a 30-yard strike to a tight end, Amari Niblack. And I have been saying all year, if you want a name for Bama that you need to circle that could have a Amari Niblack at tight end, has got legitimate wide receiver ability.
Yeah.
He's freaky.
Yeah.
Freaky. Yeah. Go up, because I'm so sorry. Anthony had a question for me.
What do you got?
It was about the negative recruiting that happened with David Stone. And Van, that's going to happen no matter where you're at. Always. I can't tell you how often I've heard of how teams negative recruit Bama. Every recruit in the nation has been told that Nick Saban is retiring tomorrow, right? Like that's the norm. Because let's be honest, like Nick Saban is getting up there in age. That's what they're going to do. I'm also a different type of mindset, Anthony. I understand that it's probably not nice, especially when, like you said, Oklahoma didn't have the season they were looking for last year, and you're sitting there watching Brent Venables say what he said about Miami losing to Middle Tennessee State University. And I know a lot of, I know a lot of the national fans have said like, oh, well, Texas beat OU 49-0. Texas is a Power 5 school.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt.
Middle Tennessee State University is not, and they ran it up.
I don't think that Mario's such a terrible coach. I think that it's a terrible program right now, and it's going to take some time to get it turned around. I don't think he's as good as Dan Lanning. Right, but I mean, the guy's won. He won at Memphis. He won.
He's
at Virginia
a hell of a
Tech,
recruiter,
and he won at Oregon. He was winning at Oregon. So, I mean, not everybody goes into the shoe and beats Ohio State. Now he did lose to Arizona State the next week, but
it's neither here nor there. That's neither here nor there.
In the end, I think that there's a lot more wrong than just who's the coach at Miami. They haven't been relevant in 20 years, just kind of like Texas, but not quite as long for Texas. But that's just me being, you guys saying that.
Here's where I'm excited.
We're going to see what's up with Texas this year. We are.
I'm excited for Miami that they've changed offensive coordinators. I've really beat around the bush on this a lot. I'm not the biggest fan of Gaddis's offensive schemes. I wasn't the biggest fan of him when he went to Michigan, and it wasn't a big fan when he was at Miami. I think that's going to be a net positive moving to a different offensive coordinator, but we'll see. We'll see. The other thing I'll say, Anthony, is I would still give Miami a lot of credit in that David Stone recruiting battle for them to make it as close as they did. I know the family liked Miami. I won't speak for them. I'm not them. And maybe they didn't want Miami.
The city as much as anything else too. Yeah.
It's a beautiful city, right? Like you're on the water. Let's be honest. People go to Miami and love it. It is what it is, right? But at the same time, David Stone had deep connections to OU, and I have been told by multiple people it was nothing to walk into Todd Bates's offense or Brent Venables' offense and see David Stone kicked up in the offense, just chilling. On a random. So for Miami to make that as much of a battle as they did,
it could be a freaking Tuesday.
Yeah, and for Miami to do what they did, I think I would be more impressed with my staff making it as close as they did, as opposed to mad at Brent for winning that battle, because that was an OU battle they needed to win, and they did a good job sewing it up.
Yeah. Look, you needed to win it, no doubt about it. There's no, and look, and I've said it, as much as, I mean, I love Nigel Smith. I think he's very important to the class. The most important was Stoney. They needed to get him. He's a hometown kid. He wants to be a Sooner. He wanted to be a Sooner. He was recruiting for OU long before he, committed, I would say. And then you've got guys like Gerald McCoy trying to really make sure, and he's still doing that. He's been taking shots at Missouri fans saying, get ready because we're coming to get him too. That he keeps saying that that's not over. Look, if OU does what they should do and wins 10 games, there's no telling what happens. I'm not putting a lot of stock in wearing freaking gloves and shoes and shit like that. I'm not, because that's the same color as their team, by the way. So I'm not going to get crazy there. But I don't think it's over with. The main thing is I think that if you look at the power line as it is, if they just get Nigel, and they've already gotten Jaden Jackson, and of course they've got David Stone, right? And on top of the fact that you still have some guys that are young enough on that line that they believe in. Look, I still believe that Ashton Champ Sanders is going to be a big time player at OU. He's got a huge wingspan. He's not as tall as some of these other guys, but he's a space eater, and he's already moved himself as a freshman into the top 3 at his position. You shouldn't be doing that if you're 6'2", 6'3". These guys know how to identify real talent and to develop it. So, look, expect them to continue to do well. And the better they do this season, I think the better they do in recruiting. We've talked about that a lot too, right? Guys, we don't have a ton of time left. I'm supposed to be over on Coach I's show. I would ask that this Hall of Fame Mafia follows us over there. I know, Ty, you're headed in there too, right?
Oh, yeah. I'm heading from here to there.
Follow us in there, Coach. If you'd like to come along, Coach I said he'd love to have you as well. We'll go in there and talk some ball. So, we're just going to and yes, Danny Okoye, I agree with you, Eric. Pardon me for not even bringing that. That was definitely a miss. I'd love to see them get Danny. And I think that there's a possibility that's going to happen now.
It certainly could. Danny, guys, I'll just say this. Danny has impressed every coaching staff that has seen him. And when I say impressed, that is putting it lightly. Yes. He has blown away coaching staffs. Bama, he camped at Bama, and they said he was hyper impressive. Bama wants him the long way. Texas wants him the long way. But Steven put it up there earlier, Jason, and I think you were saying it. What a better game for him to see.
Yeah, listen. Yeah, man. Hey, and you know what? Here's the way I look. Apparently, and I know that people love to hear this, but the source of all OU fans' PTSD, David Hicks, not very happy at ACM. Not in the top 3 apparently. So here we go. Okay, Coach, I'm gonna send you this. I'm gonna send you this link, folks. We appreciate everybody being in here. We've got a good 80 folks in here. We appreciate everybody showing up. I hope you will follow us over to that stream there. I'm going to actually drop that into our I'm going to drop that into the comments before I run. Let me do that.
I just had an OU fan comment on one of my videos that OU has the #1 scoring offense and he's happy about it, but it's just the way he worded it is so funny. It's such a good comment.
Say it. Let me hear it. Okay. All right. I'm going to drop this in here for you guys real quick. That is the channel that we're headed to now. If you hadn't already hit the like button, please do on your way out. It helps us with that algorithm more than anything else. If you would like to become an official member of the Hall of Fame Mafia, that is our channel membership. You can do that for as low as $2.99 a month. That's less than half the price of a Starbucks coffee. We would appreciate that as well. Every little bit helps for us creators moving forward. Again, look, we're excited about this season coming up. It was a great day today. We didn't talk a ton about coaches Notre Dame Irish. Tuesday, we will be back here. We'll get some more talking about that. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about with Texas Tech. They're looking very good as well.
Estime's a dude.
Yeah, Audric Estime is a stud. Forgot I just did.
So is Hartman.
Yeah.
Dude, Hartman, I'm telling you, the question about him was, can he make more than one read? I think it's clear that he can. And again, the thing that I was the most impressed with Notre Dame is they were just, thank you for doing that, Lori, was that they were so much more physical they've been so much more physical than everybody else. So
yeah,
love it. I'm so glad that everybody was in here today. Thank you so much for coming in. We will see you, if not before then, on Tuesday, but head over and check out Fanatic Sports Saturday night snap count. We're all going to be there. We will see you on the next one.